Diella, I've got your 4.04 list program here. There's a lot of things I like about this. Let's go over it together. Okay, so looking at this, you've got all the good stuff up here you're supposed to have. You got your main function. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Ice cream input. Please enter your favorite. That's great. But here's an issue right here. I'm going to make some spaces in here. Awesome. I love, whatever too. So if I type my program and say Rocky Road, you said, I love Rocky Road too, but Rocky Road's not one of your 5 on your favorite list. I love how you did this. You printed 1 through 5. We'll talk about this in a minute. You found a great way to solve a problem there because I know Python numbers 0 through 4, and you may have been having trouble printing that, and you found a solution. I like that. But let's talk about this real quick, because if we look at our template and what's required on this program, here's your template. Ask the user what their favorite is in your category, which you did, but then you print a message that lets the user know if their favorite matches any of the ones on your list. It did not match anything on your list, and we didn't check that. So let's talk about that real quick. We can do that by kind of the same thing you did here. You created a loop. I like that. I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna paste it up here and do it again. So I'm going to use that same loop. I'm going to move that down because we'll get to that print statement in a minute. So we're going to go through the loop 0 for however long your names are. Oh, wait a minute. I need to do it after. Make sure your names are above that. Hold on. Your list hasn't been created yet. So I'm going to move your list up to the top. Make sure your list is there. Okay. Your list has to exist first before I can go through and check the length of it. Right. So I just moved it up to the top because I moved this loop up to the top. I still left the loop here. I just copied it. So now that it exists, I want to create a loop to go through this. And they've entered ice cream, and we want to compare. I need to indent it because this is part of the loop. Everything that's part of the loop has to be indented. If ice cream, which is what they just entered right there, right? Ice cream equals, and of course, if statements, you got to use 2 equals to check. This just means assign a value. This means check to see if they're equal. Equals, and much like you did right down here, you printed each name with your loop, names in. So I'm gonna copy that and bring it up here too. If ice cream equals any name on the list, as the loop goes through and checks, does it match this one? 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 If it matches, if they are the same, then I'm going to use your print statement, and I got to indent it. It has to be indented over here, right? Because anything that is part of your if statement, let me pick it up there. Indent one more time. Anything, if it's true, anything that's indented will happen. So this will only print if this is true, if it finds that this name matches one on your list. Okay, so let's try, and I'm going to put just an extra print space, just a blank line, just to separate this. Let's take a look. I'm going to enter vanilla. Awesome, I love vanilla too, because it's on your list. Let me enter one that's not on your list and see if it prints. Rocky Road. Did not print anything, see, because it was not on your list. These are my top 5 favorites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So somewhere in there, you're supposed to check to see if theirs is on your list. And I did it with that loop and if statement, and then it only prints if this is true. All right, let's talk about this real quick. I don't want to take a lot of time here, but you found a great way to solve this by making these numbers in quotes. Now, we don't have to do it that way. You may have tried it another way and got an error. I'm going to delete this and delete that. We don't need the numbers. I'm just going to go back to your original list. Length equals LEN names. We don't even need that because you didn't use it. You used LEN names right there for however long that is. So we don't need this at all. So let's go back to just this print statement. And instead of printing, I got rid of the number, right? I deleted that line. So print in. This is the loop number. This is the loop number. And you probably tried this and may have got an error. Let's try this. I'm going to put Rocky Road. Well, see, integer and string, it had trouble with that. It can't print a number and a non-number. But if we use this string command to say, go ahead and print that as a string, just pretend it's letters, and then it can print it with this and this. So let's see if that fixed that. Rocky Road. Yeah, here's my top 5 favorites. But this may be, and you may have done this, and this may have been the problem you ran into, and that's not what you want it to have, right? You don't want to have a list like that. Let's put, first of all, let's put a space in between there. Just like you put this at the end, we can put a space in there. Plus space. So we added a space in between the number and the names. And maybe you don't like that it's 0 through 4. I mean, I don't either. Here, I'll put vanilla. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we tell it, when it prints it, just add 1. Just add 1. Vanilla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm not taking off anything for that because you found a solution and you printed it. You used your list. You printed your list, numbered. I love it. That's great. I'm just showing you this is a lot shorter. See, all I had to do was that. I didn't have to create another list for my numbers and go to extra steps. This is just to help you to be a better programmer and showing you a shortcut and an easier way to do that. So if we use this str command, then it can print a number and letters at the same time. Just don't do that. And I can just add 1 onto what I'm printing. It still starts with 0. That's great. It still looks at your 0 item vanilla and prints it. But I don't want it to print a 0. I want it to add 1 to the number. So it prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 0 through 4. But a lot of good work in your program, though. I love it. Great stuff. You just didn't check to see if the user favorite was on your list. But otherwise, you nailed it. Good job. See you in class.